Believe status inside the middle of a battlefield, but this is not a warfare fought with swords or guns. This is the battlefield of your thoughts each day. You face attacks and insult from a stranger, a betrayal from a chum, a moment of disrespect that ignites a fire interior you, your frame tenses, your mind screams for revenge. However, what if you can experience nothing? What if no person, no insult, no betrayal, no circumstance may want to ever make you irritated once more? The fact is, anger isn't always something. Others reason it's something you allow. We're programmed to agree with that frustration. And rage are natural reactions, however. The best minds in history knew better. Marcus Aurelius Epictetus Seneca, men who faced war, exile, and betrayal, mastered their feelings so absolutely that not anything may want to shake them. Their secret stoicism. This isn't always approximately being passive or impassive. It's approximately absolute manipulate over your thoughts nowadays. I'm going to teach you the way to never get angry or bothered with the aid of all and sundry again, no longer by means of suppressing emotions, however, by means of dominating them by using the stop of this. You won't just apprehend stoicism, you'll stay it so. Are you equipped to take back your energy? 1. The illusion of manage. Why most of the people stay angry forever? A person sits in his automobile, gripping the steerage wheel so tightly that his knuckles turn white. His boss just fired him all at once without caution, without a fair reason. Rage floods his veins as he replays the instant over and over in his head. His mind fills with blame. His corporation turned into corrupt. The economic system was failing. His boss became unfair. His career, his future, his very feel of protection all ripped away in an unmarried on the spot. And yet the simplest element he could do changed into take a seat there, stewing in his own anger, completely powerless. This is how most people live. They trust anger is something that occurs to them, a natural unstrength of willable pressure that arises when existence does cross as planned. They see it as justified, as inevitable, as proof that they've been wronged. But what if that wasn't true? What if anger wasn't something you had to experience, but instead something you selected to feel? The truth is, anger is nothing more than a dependency, a conditioned response, constructed over years of reacting to situations in the identical way we accept as true, with its far automatic. However, it isn't. It is a loop, a cycle that simplest continues due to the fact we allow it to. On the middle of this illusion is one risky notion, the notion that we will manage the outdoor. Global, we anticipate people to act a certain way, for existence to be fair, for things to head smoothly, while fact does not align with those expectations. Frustration builds, a chum betrays us, a stranger insults us, a deal falls through, and all at once we sense, in my opinion, attacked. We rage towards the state of affairs as if through sheer self-control we will pressure the world to be one of a kind. But the world does no longer care. The sector actions ahead, indifferent to our emotions, unchanged by our outrage. The only thing that changes is us. Our peace is shattered. Our focus is hijacked. Electricity has lost. A Stoic, however, sees via this illusion. He knows that anger is in no way due to external events. It's far due to his interpretation of these events. Marcus Aurelius, the truth-seeker emperor, who dominated Rome all through plagues, wars, and betrayals, knew this properly. His empire changed into continuously under risk. His closest allies turned against him, but he remained unshaken. Why? Because he had mastered the only element no one should ever take from him, his mind. He wrote, "You've got electricity power over your mind, not outdoor occasions. Recognize this, and you may find strength." Meditations. The person who lost his process ought to have reacted otherwise. In place of seeing his scenario as a non-public assault, may want to have commonplace it as simply some other occasion. Within the ever-changing nature of lifestyles, he should have requested himself, "What do I nevertheless control?" rather than drowning in self-pity. He ought to have targeted on his next step a brand new possibility, the reinvention of his profession. A sparkling begin. His boss can also have taken his position. However, he couldn't take his reaction. That is what separates individuals who go through without end from folks that stay calm underneath any hurricane. Those that suffer consider they have to manage the whole thing. The ones who thrive apprehend they best manipulate themselves. The moment you internalize this reality is the instant you free yourself from anger all the time. Suppose lower back to the remaining time you have been livid about something outside your manage. Perhaps it was an issue with a person who refused to see your perspective. Perhaps it became a not-on-time flight, a cancelled meeting, or a mistake a person else made that impacted you. Currently ask yourself, did my anger alternate anything? Did it make the situation higher? Did it deliver me any actual power? Anger feels powerful, but it is the exact opposite. It smiles and give up an admission that something external has conquered your peace. It hijacks your mind, clouds your judgment, and makes you impulsive. You might say belongings you regret, make reckless decisions, or waste hours residing on a scenario that now not exists. It smiles. The last illusion of control you accept as true with your combating again, however. In fact, you are dropping yourself to a scenario you cannot trade. So, how do you ruin unfastened? You start with the aid of letting pass of the illusion that life ought to conform to your expectations, letting pass of the belief that different people have to behave a certain manner with the intention to be at peace, letting move of the idea that your feelings have to be dictated with the aid of the out-of-doors world. The moment you do that, a peculiar element happens. You stop reacting, and also you start responding. You shift from being managed by way of your emotions to strength of mindling them. You forestall losing electricity on matters beyond your impact and attention, completely on what you could trade, your mindset, your movements, your next flow. You emerge as untouchable, now not disturbed by way of the chaos around you. The majority in no way enjoy this stage of internal strength. They spend their complete lives trying to control the unself-disciplinable, raging against situations. They can by no means alternate, but you do not must. You could wreck the cycle nowadays. The subsequent times something angers you, forestall. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this example really in my manipulate? Will my anger clear up anything? If the answer is not any, then permit it. Go no longer for them for you. The sector will continually be unpredictable. Humans will betray you. Things will cross wrong. You may face loss, unhappiness, and moments of unfairness. However, none of these items have the energy to make you suffer, except you allow them to. The handiest issue you ever truly very own is your mind. The quicker you accept this, the faster you grasp your emotions, and when you do something extremely good takes place, you forestall getting angry, you forestall feeling troubled, you start residing with an unshakable arm, shifting through lifestyles as though no storm may want to ever touch you, because now you spot the reality. The world became in no way for your manipulate, however your mind constantly was. But if strength of mindling the outdoor international is an illusion, how will we take complete manage of our own minds? The Stoic mystery, detachment from outside judgment. A man posts a video online, happy with the message he has shared inside mins. The feedback start rolling in. A few are high quality, some impartial, but then that is rubbish. You have no idea what you are. Speak me about. His belly tightens. He clicks at the profile of the person who wrote it. No films, no content, just a random stranger hiding in the back of a display screen, tearing others down. He is aware of he shouldn't care, but the words linger. His mind replays them again and again, even though the individual that wrote them has already moved on, likely by no means considering it again. Why can we let the phrases of others hold such strength over us? Why does a single criticism experience heavier than 1,000 compliments? The truth is, most of the people spend their lives trapped with the aid of the reviews of others, continuously adjusting their behavior to benefit approval, fearing rejection, and taking each insult as a non-public attack. But what if nobody's words, suitable or awful, had the electricity to shake you? What if you may detach, absolutely shifting through life untouched via praise or criticism? Alike, the greatest trigger for anger is not what happens to us, it's what others consider us we agree with. We're being judged at every flip that human beings are analyzing our every circulate, forming evaluations that might make or wreck our reputation, however right. Here's the uncomfortable fact. No one without a doubt cares approximately you as tons as you think. This isn't always intended to be merciless. It is freeing. Human beings are too caught up of their personal worries, their personal insecurities, their very own struggles to be fixated on you. Their judgments are in no way approximately you, they are reflections of them. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. As Emperor of Rome, he confronted countless grievance, betrayal, and public scrutiny. If he had allowed each insult, each whisper of doubt, or every act of competition to consume him, he could have been dominated through his feelings in place of ruling his empire as an alternative. Wrote, you continually have the choice of having no opinion. Meditations consider that electricity, the capacity to pay attention something terrible and decide consciously that it does now not deserve an area on your thoughts. Consider this to your personal existence. How usually have you ever let a person words dictate your emotions? A passing insult, an offhand remark, a glance of disapproval. How regularly have these things lingered for your mind for hours, even days now? Ask yourself, did any of these judgments truly change who I am? Did they adjust my abilities, my values, or my cause? The answer is always realize a real Stoic understands that external judgment is simply noise. It contains no real substance unless we pick to present it. Meaning, believe you're walking down a busy avenue and a person shouts an insult at you from a passing vehicle. You don't know them. They do not know you. They're long gone in seconds. Could you permit that one comment smash your complete day? Might you maintain directly to it, dissecting it again and again in your mind? Most of the people could, however. A Stoic could apprehend it for what its miles inappropriate a moment sound inside the wind. Nothing greater. This precept applies to all regions of lifestyles. Do not forget an artist freeing their paintings into the world. A few humans will adore it, others will mock it. If the artist lets in outside critiques to dictate their actions, they will both emerge as hooked on validation or paralyzed by means of fear of complaint. Either way, they are now not free. A Stoic, however, stays indifferent. Reward does now not inflate their ego. Insults do not wound them. They maintain growing, residing, and transferring forward, unaffected through the fleeting judgments of others. This is not to say you need to ignore all feedback. Stoicism isn't about conceitedness. It's miles approximately discernment. You ought to learn to separate beneficial criticism from meaningless negativity. If comments facilitates you develop, use it. If it's far mere noise, discard it. You're the gatekeeper of your very own mind. Detaching from outside judgment takes practice, but it is viable. The subsequent time someone insults you, pause rather than react. Ask yourself, is this about me, or is it about them? 9 instances out of 10. Their phrases stem from their very own biases, studies, or insecurities. The impolite cashier, the aggressive driving force, the bitter co-worker. These people aren't absolutely reacting to you. They may be reacting to their very own inner struggles, their very own unresolved frustrations. Whilst you prevent taking things, in my opinion, you advantage and great type of energy, you grow to be untouchable. You prevent being managed by the unpredictable moods and reviews of others. You move through lifestyles with an unshakable experience of peace, knowing that not anything external can outline you until you permit it to. However, what if a person actually wrongs you? What if their movements go past simply words? Must you continue to stay detached? Or is there a manner to hold your power whilst nonetheless taking motion? If a person truly wrongs, you need to live silent. Or is there a manner to hold your strength without reacting? Music. Emotionally. 3. The energy of non-response. How to manipulate every scenario. A man stands inside the center of a excessive stakes negotiation. Hostages are trapped inside. Building the criminals are armed, and the tension is suffocating every second. Subjects, the incorrect pass, the incorrect phrase, or even the incorrect tone ought to push the situation into chaos. Across from him, the hostage taker is shouting, disturbing, threatening. The room holds its breath, awaiting. Negotiator to react, however, he would not. Rather, he stays completely. Nevertheless, he listens, he pauses, he thinks at the same time as each person else is fed on. With the aid of fear and emotion, he willpowers himself. And with the aid of doing so, he strengthens the state of affairs. That is the electricity of non-reaction. The majority consider that energy comes from force, from being the loudest, the strongest, or the maximum competitive. However, genuine energy comes from stillness, the individual that does not react emotionally, who stays composed whilst others lose themselves, usually has the upper hand. That is why the best leaders, negotiators, and warriors at some point of history have mastered the capability to live calm beneath pressure. It is why Marcus Aurelius, despite ruling an empire constantly at battle, may want to write, "You have strength over your thoughts, now not outside events." Realize this and you'll find energy meditations. Think about the closing time a person provoked you. Perhaps it became a rude remark, an unfair accusation, or someone looking to embarrass you in the front of others. Your body tensed, your heart raced, and your instinct informed you to react to half again, to guard yourself, to show them wrong. But what befell the instant you reacted? Did it enhance the state of affairs, or did it amplify? The reality is people count on reactions. When a person insults you, they anticipate anger while someone tests you. They expect defensiveness while someone provokes you. They anticipate retaliation, however. What occurs while you deliver them? Nothing. Confusion, uncertainty, loss of manipulate by means of not reacting. You turn the tables. This is why the maximum effective person in any struggle is the only who remains silent, no longer out of weakness, but out of control. Master negotiator in an FBI hostage crisis does now not increase his voice or argue with criminals. He pauses, calculates, and responds with good judgment. A skilled boxer does no longer throw wild punches out of emotion. He waits for the right second, retaining strength, placing most effective while essential. A Stoic in daily existence does the identical. However, how do you develop this degree of control? How do you resist the overwhelming urge to react when feelings run high? The answer lies in a simple, however powerful method. The 3-second rule. Every time you feel the cause, anger, frustration, defensiveness, pause for 3 seconds, do nothing, breathe in deeply, exhale slowly, and ask yourself one easy question. Does this example deserve my strength? Most of the time the answer is not any. A random insult, now not worth it. A reckless driver cutting you off, no longer really worth it. A co-worker's passive competitive remark, not worth it. By the time those 3 seconds bypass your rational thoughts, takes control, and the emotional impulse fades. This is the equal precept that elite infantrymen and martial artists teach, for in excessive press combat, reacting emotionally manner demise. A warrior should remain completely composed irrespective of how chaotic the battlefield will become. In lifestyles, the battlefield unique, however, the precept remains the same. He who does not react self-controls the final results. Non-reaction isn't approximately passivity, it's far approximately method. When you do no longer react, you positioned yourself within the role of the observer in place of the sufferer. You see things. Certainly you control your power, your consciousness, and your choices, and in doing so you shift the balance of energy completely in your prefer. Believe an issue wherein a person is aggressively seeking to initiate you instead of attractive. You stay silent. You let their words linger within the unchallenged. Watch what occurs subsequent. They will either grow to be annoyed at your loss of response, or they may start to guessing themselves. Either manner, you win without even attractive in the combat. This is the equal tactic that master negotiators use to dominate discussions. They do no longer rush to respond. They allow silence to the paintings in business. This is referred to as the energy of the pause, the capability to take a seat in silence at the same time as the other individual reveals their weaknesses, explains, or makes mistakes. The moment you master silence, you master the artwork of manipulate. But what about situations in which action is genuinely required? What if someone crosses an extreme boundary, commits an injustice, or does something that cannot be omitted? Should you still remain silent, or do you allow things slide inside the core? To ECHR 3562 body 91 air 194,484 to 1328 F 239. However, if a person without a doubt wrongs you, need to you stay silent, or is there a way to hold your electricity while nevertheless taking motion? Forestall taking matters individually. A billionaire walks via a crowded event. His each step watched via the public. All at once a critic shouts from across the room, calling him a fraud, a failure, a shame. The group turns to look. His response: most people in his function might be outraged, protecting, irritated, determined to show their worth. However, he does something sudden. He smiles, chuckles beneath his breath, and then he actually walks away absolutely unbothered. Who won in that second? The man who shouted, desperately searching for a reaction, or the man who remained indifferent, untouchable, and unfastened? The fact is, nothing is personal, except you decide it's far. This is the essence of Stoic mastery, the potential to allow go of the idea that human beings' words, reviews, and actions are one way or the other. Approximately you. They may be not. People act based on their feelings, their biases, their beyond experiences. You are simply an observer of their personal world. One of the best Stoic philosophers understood this deeply. He wrote, "What others do is their commercial enterprise. What you do is yours. The instant you internalize this, you step into a level of mental energy that most of the people in no way reach. The world no longer self-controls you. It does count number. If a person insults you, criticizes you, or attempts to belittle you, their phrases keep zero. Wait unless you deliver them strength. Believe people walking through a hurricane. One curses the rain, yells at the clouds, complains about how unfair it is. The alternative actually accepts it. Does no longer take the rain personally. He does no longer blame the sky for being what it is. He adjusts, moves ahead, and stays at peace. Life is the same. Human beings are the equal. A few can be type, some could be cruel. Some will love you, some will hate you, but none of it's miles actually about you. It's far about them. Think about the closing time. A person insulted you. Maybe they said you had been incompetent. Maybe they known as you susceptible. Perhaps they dismissed your ideas. Now ask yourself, was their judgment based totally on deep know-how, or became it sincerely an opinion fashioned in seconds? The fact is, maximum criticisms aren't properly idea out. They are quick, emotional, and often a mirrored image of the person speaking. In place of the individual being judged, a real Stoic sees through this illusion. He understands that if an insult can and shake him, it isn't the insult that has power, it's Miles, his very own attachment to the phrases. He learns to allow go, to have a look at the world without attachment, without taking matters. In my opinion, there may be a effective workout that may trade the way you see criticism all the time. The next time someone insults you, do not react, rather mentally say to yourself, it truly is their opinion, not my truth. Say it once more, repeat it, as in many instances, as wished, until it sinks in. Watch what occurs. The insult loses all meaning. It no longer sticks. It fades into nothingness due to the fact you probably did now not accept it as truth. Humans expect you to react. They count on you to protect yourself, to argue, to experience attacked. However, the second you ruin that pattern, end up untouchable. You shift from reacting to looking at you. Prevent letting others dictate your emotions. A warrior does no longer take insults. For my part, a leader does now not collapse beneath grievance. A grasp of the mind does now not let the words of others shake his fact, due to the fact he understands that his value isn't depending on outside validation. Detaching from non-public offense does now not suggest turning into impassive. It weighs selecting in which to make investments. Your power. Imagine wearing a backpack complete of rocks. Each rock represents an insult, a judgment, expectation located upon you by using others. The general public stroll through lifestyles wearing those weights, allowing them to sluggish them down. However, you don't need to. You may drop the load. You could walk lighter, flow faster, and stay freer by using clearly, refusing to choose up the weight of withdrawal. Others' opinions. This mindset extends beyond insults. It applies to rejection, fail, or even praise. If you rely on approval to feel precious, you will also fall apart beneath criticism. The Stoic mindset is to stay centered. No matter what others think, you are neither inflated with the aid of compliments nor broken by way of insults. You stay grounded in who you are, unbiased of the transferring reviews around you. So the following time someone attempts to belittle you, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this truly approximately me, or is it about them? Most of the time you'll recognize that it has nothing to do with you at all, and much like that, the weight is gone, the storm passes, you stroll away smiling, untouched, unshaken, and without a doubt free. But what if, notwithstanding your high-quality efforts, you still sense anger growing inside? What if the emotion is simply too robust to ignore? How do you process it without dropping manage, but in case you nonetheless feel anger growing inner, how do you technique it without losing control? 5. Memento mori. How accepting dying ends. All anger. A person opens his eyes, gazing the white ceiling of a medical institution room. His frame is blanketed in bruises, his ribs ache with every breath, and his mind is foggy from the trauma simply hours ago. He was in a vehicle rushing down the motorway, thinking about work, strain, arguments, things that at the time felt overwhelmingly crucial. Then, in an immediate, the entirety modified steel, twisted glass, shattered, and the arena spun out of control. He slightly survived. And now, as he lies in that clinic mattress, he has one overwhelming notion. Why did I waste a lot time on matters that didn't matter? Not anything changes someone's attitude greater than coming head to head with death. It strips away each illusion, each distraction, every trivial worry, arguments, grudges, delight, anger, all at once. None of it appears crucial anymore. What once ate up the thoughts now feels small, insignificant, nearly laughable, while you surely remember the fact that time is constrained. You forestall, losing it on things that do not matter. That is the power of memento mori, the Stoic practice of remembering that dying is inevitable. It is able to sound morbid. At the start, however, it's miles, one of the maximum liberating realizations. A person will have Marcus Aurelius, the logician emperor, understood this deeply. He wrote, "You may go away lifestyles right now permit that decide what you do and say and think meditations." These had been not simply phrases to him. They were a way of life. Every choice, each reaction, every emotion changed into filtered through the lens of mortality. Ask yourself, if these days were my ultimate day, might this argument count number in case you had just a few hours left to live? Might you spend them being angry at a stranger who reduced you off in visitors? Could you waste treasured moments resenting a person for an insult? Could you permit yourself to be fed on by trivial variations? The solution is continually no. While faced with the truth of death, our priorities shift right away. What definitely subjects rises to the floor. Love calls. Presence gratitude, however, here's the component you don't need a close to demise revel in to benefit this clarity. You don't need to wait till your very last moments to start residing accurately. You could educate yourself right now to see lifestyle's existence via the eyes of someone who is aware. It's brevity. And when you do something outstanding takes place, anger disappears. Think of anger as a thief. It steals, it slows your peace, your energy. It convinces you that petty conflicts are really worth your attention. But whilst you keep in mind that life is finite, you begin guarding it slow. Like warrior protective his state, you prevent giving your mins away so easily. Believe, waking up each morning and reminding yourself, if nowadays were my last, how might I stay? This isn't always intended to create worry. It is supposed to create cognizance. It reminds you to pick out accurately, to determine consciously what merits your attention and what doesn't. A rude remark from a co-worker, not really worth it. A delay for your plans, now not worth it. The noise of ordinary frustrations, no longer really worth it. The second of your time. Remember the story of a man who survived a craft crash. He walked far from the wreckage with nothing but gratitude. Before the crash, he turned into constantly confused, arguing over small matters, chasing things that did not satisfy him. However, after that second, the entirety changed. He now not allowed himself to be consumed by using minor troubles. When a person insulted him, he actually smiled. When matters didn't pass as was planned, he adapted. Why? Due to the fact he had visible the threshold of lifestyles, and he refused to waste some other to do on whatever that did not count. This is the closing Stoic mindset shift. It isn't always about ignoring feelings. Miles about setting them in attitude. Anger may additionally rise up, but whilst you evaluate it to the vastness of lifestyles and the knowledge of demise, it right away shrinks. It now not strength that minds you. And this is not simply philosophy. It is science. Studies have shown that people who have near loss of life experiences regularly return with a completely distinctive outlook. Their brains shift. They turn out to be more affected person, more compassionate, extra present. They stop reacting emotionally to things that used to enrage them. Why? Because they know deep of their bones that existence is just too quick for nonsense. You could create this shift without experiencing catastrophe. You can start. Nowadays, do this easy project each morning before you begin your day. Ask yourself one question. If nowadays had been my closing, would this count? Ask it before each decision. Ask it before each argument. Ask it before losing power. On anger quickly, you'll discover that most matters aren't worth time. But what about the matters that do matter? What about real demanding situations, real troubles, real situations that require electricity and resilience? How do you make sure that your feelings do not control you, even as still dwelling a lifestyles of meaning and field? But how do you turn those insights into a everyday practice, making sure that they emerge as to a denature rather than just a passing cognizance? 6. The daily Stoic ritual, how to train your thoughts like a warrior. A warrior does no longer input conflict unprepared. He does not wake up hoping that his instincts can be sufficient. He trains every unmarried day. He sharpens his blade, strengthens his frame, and most significantly masters his mind. The arena throws chaos, insults, and demanding situations at you every day. The majority react. The Stoic warrior prepares. Each outstanding Stoic, from Marcus Aurelius to Seneca, had an intellectual education device they did no longer in reality depend on philosophy. They practiced it day after day till it had become who they have been. They skilled their minds like a warrior trains his body, ensuring that no insult, no misfortune, no external force should ever shake them. The name of the game to becoming unbothered via something or absolutely everyone is subject. You do not magically wake up one day with an unshakable mind. You have to construct it. And just like a warrior in schooling, there are 2 everyday exercises to be able to forge you into someone who, in no way, loses or manipulate. Again, the first battle of the day is not fought within the actual international. It's far fought to your mind earlier than whatever takes place. You need to put together. This is where the ancient Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum comes in. It means the premeditation of evil. It is the artwork of mentally preparing for boundaries earlier than they arise. Believe waking up each morning and asking yourself what could move incorrect nowadays in the beginning. This might appear negative, however. In truth, it's miles the last tool for control, as opposed to being stuck off. Protect matters don't move your manner. You have got already rehearsed your response. Shall we embrace? You've got an essential meeting. Rather than hoping the whole lot will go smoothly, a Stoic prepares. What if my colleague criticizes me? What if there may be surprising traffic? What if the presentation does not pass as deliberate? By using mentally facing these challenges earlier, nothing surprises you. When the real event takes place, your feelings live constant because your mind has already experienced the discomfort. You are no longer reacting. You are executing a plan before you start your day near your eye. For 60 seconds, visualize the worst-case situations that might happen nowadays. An issue, a postpone, an insult. Then visualize yourself handling everyone lightly, powerfully, and with whole manage. That is the way you application yourself for resilience earlier than the day even starts off. Evolved. Each exceptional warrior reviews his battles. Every incredible leader displays on his decisions. Each brilliant Stoic analyses his very own thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, notwithstanding ruling an empire, wrote in his personal journal every night time, now not to electrify everyone, now not for public validation. However, to review his very own discipline, he would ask himself, did I react with wisdom today? Did I allow emotions control me, or did I manipulate them? What may want to? I've carried out better this each day. A self-mirrored image is the most effective device for boom. You cannot improve what you do know. Longer analyze. You cannot master yourself until you keep yourself accountable. On the stop of every day, take 5 mins to mirror on the way you responded to existence's demanding situations. Perceive 1 second in which you remained calm while others might have reacted emotionally, recognizing the strength in your restraint. Then well-known 1 example where emotions were given the pleasant of you, not with judgment. However, as an possibility to study in the end, determine how you may cope with similar situations better inside the destiny, ensuring that each day brings greater self-mastery. This simple habit, practiced continuously, will forge an unshakable thoughts, one that is resilient, disciplined, and absolutely self-disciplined. This practice rewires your mind each night time. You come to be stronger than you were the previous day. Most people trust that emotional control manage is only a character trait. It isn't. It's miles a talent one, which must be taught every day. Think of your thoughts like a muscle. If you carry weights every day, your body becomes more potent. In case you train your reactions every day, your thoughts will become unbreakable. On every occasion you face up to the urge to react emotionally, you support this intellectual muscle. On every occasion you pause in preference to snapping return. You educate yourself for future demanding situations. Through the years you turn out to be a person who does not get angry, who does not take matters personally, and whose strength of mind's every state of affairs. Definitely by using strength of mindling yourself, consider living in a world wherein nothing bothers you. A person insults you. You shrug. Plans trade unexpectedly. You adapt. Stressful situations get up. You continue to be calm. This isn't always fable. This is a talent set. You may increase. The Stoics were now not superhuman. They were disciplined, and now so are you. However, knowing this isn't enough, you should practice. You should awaken day after today and start your day with premeditatio malorum. You need to give up your day with reflection and refinement. If you try this each unmarried day, there will come a time whilst you look around and recognize, I do now not get angry anymore. I do now not react. I do not waste my time on matters that do not be counted. I have full control of my thoughts, and because of that I have complete manage of my existence. But that is just the beginning, because now that you have the blueprint for an unbreakable thoughts, what will you do with it, Marcus? Aurelius dominated an empire in turmoil, wars, betrayals, plagues, and consistent stress, but through it all, he remained composed, unshaken, untouchable. He knew what most people by no means recognize: the world can't disturb you except you allow it to. He mastered his feelings not through suppressing them, but by knowledge that he alone managed his mind. Now the question turns to you. May you maintain letting small frustrations dictate your peace? Will you maintain gifting away your electricity to insult faults, delays, and trivial inconveniences? Or will you rise above, embody the field of a Stoic, and complete control of your inner global? This night before you sleep, take 5 minutes mirror. Did I react with wisdom these days? Did I focus on what I'm able to control? That is the way you educate your mind. This is how you end up unbreakable, not by waiting for a simpler world, but by forging a more potent self. If you're equipped to construct an untouchable attitude, kind, unshakable inside the remarks, let the arena see your dedication. If this message resonated with you, want this video, percentage it with someone who desires it, and subscribe for more Stoic expertise. Collectively, we're building a network of individuals who refuse to be controlled by way of the chaos round them. And earlier than you pass, ask yourself one very last question. What, in case you lived each day as though nothing should disturb your peace, what might alternate your journey begins now?